Anthony Weiner is back. Anthony Weiner, the infamous New York politician that almost became mayor of NYC before going down in flames after a scandal involving his dick pics, which he sent to an underage girl. So just totally disgusting. But this guy was a big up and coming Democrat politician.
Yeah, his wife was Clinton's right-hand woman.
Yeah, Huma Abedin, his wife, was Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman. Anthony Weiner was not only, very well connected, but also, to his credit, was a very charismatic and effective communicator and politician. A lot of people thought he would eventually run for president. He was really a rising star in the Democratic Party, and especially in New York. I don't know how much anyone these days, remembers that. But he was definitely, like I said, a rising star, and then totally was disgraced after being involved in multiple scandals. Again, he survived the first scandal and tried to run for mayor and was going to succeed. But then halfway through his campaign, another scandal dropped. More news broke that he had been sexting underage girls. And of course, while he was married to Huma Abedin, so being unfaithful on top of that.
Yeah, anyway, twice. She stayed with him the first time.
She did. Yeah, she stayed with him through the second time as well. And then it wasn't until a little bit later, and there might have even been a third incident that came out. Anyway, this guy could just not fucking keep it in his pants. He could not behave properly. And he actually went to jail, I think, for a year or so because of this. Obviously, for sending sexual photos to a minor. That's not legal. Anyway, he's out of jail. He's back roaming the streets as a free man. And weirdly enough, I guess he has some radio show / podcast with this guy, Curtis Silwa or whatever. I think this guy was the Republican nominee for mayor of New York. He ran against Eric Adams in the general election as the Republican candidate. But he seems kind of like a loon. So I guess the concept of their new show is that Weiner is the lefty and this dude is the conservative, and they kind of have like a dynamic where they debate and all that stuff. But yeah, he's back. He's trying to reamass some of his former popularity and credibility on the Democratic side of the aisle. And again, he's doing some media appearances, a bit of a tour around various talk shows and interview shows to try to restore his name and to get the word out about his new show. But this particular interview on Fox News, a lot of people have been discussing because, God, he really drops the ball when asked a pretty simple and what should have been expected question from Sean Hannity. It's really mind-blowing how much he just fucks up this question and really does not look great in this clip. But yeah, let's take a look here.
I guess the first question that I'll have is, you pled guilty, Anthony, to sending obscene materials to a young girl, a 15-year-old girl. You pled guilty, you served jail time. Have you changed? Are you a different person?
Well, I think so. I don't think anyone can go through that kind of experience, and I think this is probably true of people who have been through other types of adversity. I don't think you go through that type of experience and don't emerge changed.
Well, but Anthony, wait a minute.
So I think it's fairly obvious.
That's an obscure answer. I think so.
This man is a sociopath. I'm sorry, I haven't seen this clip until now, Gavin. I mean, I had no idea that Anthony Weiner was ever going to show his face again in the public life. I remember when that shit went down. I remember the documentary they made about it, which was fucking great. If anybody wants to check it out, I highly recommend. I mean, the layers to this. But yeah, he has to be a sociopath. How do you send a picture of your dick to a 15-year-old fucking girl? Traumatize her. I'm sure he was sending her all kinds of other fucking manipulative bullshit, blah blah blah, but trying to extort shit from her. I don't fucking know. Disgusting asshole. But to then have no level of introspection, like you're like, oh yeah, this was really hard for me. Like, are you fucking crazy? This dude belonged in the aristocracy because he has no fucking soul. But I'm just glad to see one of them that it all fell the fuck apart for. But this is absolutely insane. We'll let Hannity keep breaking his balls.
Either you know in your heart if you changed, or you know in your heart if you didn't change. Can you assure people, because you're going to now try and draw in an audience, and they're going to want to know if you changed or not. Have you changed?
They can judge for themselves.
I'm sorry?
I said they can judge for themselves. I'm not out to persuade you or anyone else that I've changed. I mean, I'm doing a radio show and people can call in and ask me questions. We did one this past Saturday where people had an opportunity to call in and where Curtis asked me a bunch of questions and I asked and answered the best I can. But in terms of like, I'm trying to draw someone in, no, I'm not trying to make someone like me or someone be persuaded of any particular outlook on me. We're going to have some conversations about things going on in New York City and other places, and hopefully people will tune into the show, but I'm not terribly interested in trying to make them feel any differently about me.
So it's hilarious that he asks like so inconvenienced by this question, like, oh God, why do you got to dredge up the past, bro? Like, I'm trying to do this new radio show. But it's kind of a reasonable question to be like, hey man, like you're trying to, you know, reemerge in the public life. You're trying to amass a viewership, people to listen to your opinions. It's reasonable to be like, hey man, did you kind of get over that episode where you were exposed as a pedophile, essentially? Someone that was willing to, you know, cheat on his wife, not just with some random, you know, consenting adult. No, with a 15-year-old girl. And obviously we didn't probably see the half of it. Think about all the text messages he sent and, you know, messages on various forums or, you know, private DMs, that kind of, think about everything that's out there that we'll never hear about because it was scrubbed from the internet. You know, what we did see was probably just the tip of the iceberg. Anyway, it's a reasonable question.
The tip.
Just the tip. Anyway, yeah, it's a reasonable question and it should have been expected on his part. For him to get this question, obviously, especially on Hannity, who's a right winger. Of course, you're going to get asked this question. How are you this unprepared? And you'd expect him to just lie too and be like, you know, I have changed. I'm a changed man. I discovered Jesus, and this will never ever happen again. You just expect him to totally lie. So I guess props for, you know, being honest and just being like, judge for yourself, bitches.
Yeah, we are judging for ourselves, and I've made up my own fucking mind. Like, that's a dude that's gonna send another poor woman a picture of his wiener and probably has. I mean, like, this is fucking crazy. He probably has to, like, I don't know. I don't mean to speculate, but this dude looks like the kind of man that would just do horrible things to sex workers with his money. I mean, I don't know. Look at that face, and I see some darkness behind those eyes. I mean, this man needs this man. I don't know. 1 year is not long enough for the crimes that he. I mean, like, I'm not a simp for the fucking justice system in this country, the jail system in this country, but come on, a year for sending a picture of your dick to a 15-year-old girl, traumatizing her, and now you just get to have a fucking show go on Fox News. This is insane. He doesn't look like he regrets it at all. He looks like such a fucking piece of shit, to be honest. I mean, I'm angry about this for some, I mean, I don't know, for some strange reason, but I'm just saying, like, the more I look at his disgusting fucking face, the more I think about the trauma that he inflicted on this poor girl, probably others. You know what I mean? The lack of fucking any remorse that he has. I'm like, are you Patrick fucking Bateman? Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Oh, disgusted by this guy. Oh my God. I don't even have children.
Yeah, and again, this dude in his heyday was a very charismatic, commanding, effective politician. He wasn't afraid to lash out at the Republicans and in a really effective way. That's why a lot of people thought he would run for president. He had a very likable vibe, even though he was a neoliberal and you know, not my cup of tea. You have to admit that he was a good politician. He's a husk of his former self in this clip. Not only does he look like he's a fucking, you know, been on a week-long bender, but just like his, you know, the way he talks, the way he's communicating, it's very low energy. It feels like he doesn't want to be here. It feels like he's only doing this talk show because he needs to make some money, which is, of course, what's going on. Of course, he doesn't want to be doing this. But here he is humiliating himself, making the rounds on cable news to promote his dumb new show, which I doubt many people will check out, at least not by choice. If anyone listens to this, it'll probably just because it's on the radio and they happen to be listening to that channel at that time. But yeah, not looking great for Mr. Weiner. Like you, Zach, I was shocked that he's even showing his face in public again at all, period. But yeah, hopefully we get some more clips like this of the dude just totally humiliating himself because, yeah, fuck Anthony Weiner, obviously.
Oh, what a disgusting pervert. There's not even any more to say about it. That dude is like the lowest of the low in the like, I mean, not really, because there are actual like real like fucking Jeffrey Epstein fuckers out there that you know, went even further into the darkness. But still despicable. Why they're having him on Fox News? I mean, maybe it was just to embarrass the shit out of him like that. But Jesus Christ, I would never listen to that guy's radio show. And if you call in, you better tell him what a piece of shit he is. But anyway, goddamn, I can't believe that. I'm shocked that he's making a return to anything in the public eye. This is, wow. I mean, that also shows that he's a sociopath in a weird way. He has no shame. He can't feel public humiliation. in the same way that other people can. There's no fucking way. That dude has like that dude has some shit wrong with his brain. Like lots. Obviously it does because he sent a dick pic to a 15-year-old girl. But I mean, oh my God, so much to unpack there. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, total insanity. And yeah, check out the documentary Weiner if you have not yet. It's probably one of the most entertaining political documentaries ever made. Definitely one of my favorite political documentaries that I've seen. Highly recommend you check that out if you have not. It's a really great behind the scenes look at a mayoral campaign too. You get to see the rise and fall of this fucker. Really interesting stuff. So yeah, check that out. But it's definitely been interesting to see his fall from grace. Just what a nightmare. What a fucking humiliation tour. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's probably about it for our show today, unless you had anything else you wanted to chat about, Zach.
No, I'm down to go live again tomorrow, so we'll pick up anything else that we didn't get to today. But yeah, chill night, snow day. Good to get on the air and do some chatting for a little bit. So thanks, everybody. Yeah. Fucking Anthony Weiner is crazy. I'm just reading the chats. Everybody's like fucking thinking about this. It's crazy. It feels like a r/relationship story on Reddit that is so crazy you're not sure if it's true. Like I don't know if anybody else goes down those rabbit holes on random threads of YouTube or of Reddit where it just like push notifies you and it's like, this is spicy, and then you read it and you're like, oh my God, this is so spicy. I read this fucking thing earlier today.